What's going on, guys? Michael here from 3D Print Everything, and if you've ever wondered what it takes to start a PolyJet resin printer, I'm going to show you right now. So I just finished a previous print job. The door is unlocked, says it's ready to print. We are going to take the prints off the build plate. So first, you put on your gloves because we want to be safe with wet resins. Now this resin is cured by a UV light that is right here as it's printing. And from my understanding, this Stratasys resin is fairly safe, but we want to be careful anyways, because we can see down here that there's just a little bit of what looks like wet resin kind of at the base of these prints. But it's interesting. So this build plate is like this coated aluminum, it looks like, and I've got to really shove into this to kind of break these off the build plate. And all of this on the bottom of the print is actually support material, so it builds supports on the bottom of every print. And then this is like an initial layer that once you kind of get under it, well, I'll get that one in just a second. Let's go ahead and break a couple of these loose. Like, I am really, like, look at this. Like, you gotta really shove in there to kind of break the seal. Sometimes it's a little easier if you can get underneath that first. But, so watch now. Should be able to just kind of, there it is. You get that up like a nice pancake. And then that's trash. That one. Okay, so these two base layers, even though that's like a support layer, they make it harder so that that very first layer is actually support, and I'm not sure what else, but it's more than just supports. The supports by themselves are really soft. This stuff is, the very first layer is something else. One of the hard materials. Okay, there we go. So now we'll take all four of these. Get my hand in there so I can grab them. So we got all four of these. We're going to take them out of the build plate, and we're going to go over here to our washing station, which I should have had ready. Alright. Yeah, see, when I have it all ready, it wouldn't do that. Alright, so we'll put that in there. And then we have to clean this. So, after every single print, this build plate's got to be cleaned to perfection. So let's get the rest of this off here. Put that pancake there. Last pancake. Okay. Now, since this is just junk, this is all going to be picked up by trash here. You can set that aside. Get one of these little rags here. Try folding this over into a nice little square. Hadn't tried doing this one-handed yet. But once we get a nice little square out of it, take some alcohol. This is just 70%. I don't know if 90% is recommended, but I know 70% works. So we're going to get this wet. I don't want to spray this in the printer because there's lubrication on those back rails. So I'm not trying to just spray resin everywhere, but I'll kind of kick off some of the the big chunks there to the bottom, and then we just kind of fold this thing a couple of times. And we can be pretty liberal with these rags. They recommend several rags be used per cleaning cycle. So, sorry, I'm just trying to fold this here. Okay, so now I've got the build plate clean. That's not the only thing we have to do. So, get that done. Alright, so printer is first stage cleaned. Now, Why didn't it? Oh, yeah, it won't shut with this open, so gotta close that. There's a little deal underneath. I was like, wait a second. Okay, now, as we see, we have a little alert on the screen. And it says print pattern test. Now, I know we're going to do the print pattern test, but I need to go into Wizards and actually do the routine cleaning first. So we're going to let it warm up the routine cleaning. Generally, this process will take a couple of minutes in order to warm up. So while that's doing that, we'll go ahead and go over here to the washing station, and I'll show you how I have this set up. So this is a little goofy, but we have a pressure washer here. We've got a water valve here. We have this really silly Y system that I made, but it works for the time being. So we're going to tighten that down. Okay, and then I've got two different things plugged in back here. I guess I need to get a multi-plug. So we're going to unplug our sander. I'm going to plug in our pressure washer, or our washing station that also powers pressure washer. Light on the back. Now we have power in our washing station. Need to get these gloves off, so I'm going to set the phone down for a second. See if I can leave it. So we'll take these off. Now I will turn this on. You can see I've got it shooting out the auxiliary hole. Now we're going to close that. Oh, wait. Close the door first, otherwise you might spray yourself with water. Got these latches here. Latch here. Then we're going to close this valve. Now I've got power in here, or water in here, and power. So we're going to put the gloves on, and I'll show you what it looks like while we're cleaning one of these. Now it's going to get a little loud here because the pressure washer is going to turn on, but let me see if I can find a good spot for the phone. Maybe this will work. We'll see. It's going to get a little foggy, so this might not look good, so I won't do it for too long, but I'm just going to show you the process for cleaning one of them. Alright, I've got my gloves on. Now we got our piece here. And we got the windshield wiper going back and forth, so that's what you're seeing there. But we just take this and you run it all across the part to remove the supports. Yeah, just like this, just kind of rake it across. It's a lot harder to see in this video than it is just through the big viewport, so you know, I can understand where this might not look as good on your end. Yeah, it'll spray this stuff everywhere. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to do in order to clean a part is, I need to get the edge. And that's really kicking it up in here right now. I was trying to clean it through the viewport of the camera, of the phone, but it's really, really hard for me to do that. But yeah, that's essentially... Oh shit, I forgot to put the hose down, so the hose is actually filling up. I was wondering why it wasn't emptying properly. I've got to put the drain in the right place. There we go. Now it's draining properly. I forgot to have the drain. The drain was not where it was supposed to be, so good thing I remembered to do that, and now it emptied out properly. So now it shouldn't make as big of a mess. But let's go back to the 3D printer. Actually, turn the water off. Okay. So generally, I'll clean the prints that have come out of the printer first, and then I will come back over here and finish this. So it's now ready. It told me to do that. So actually, we're going to put 2 more gloves on again because I might touch wet resin on this cleaning. So we want to make sure we stick our gloves back on. It was probably safer previously to have not used gloves, but either way, we're just going to be extra safe and make sure we've got our gloves on. I'm just folding a towel right now. Whoops, sorry. Okay, so now, sorry, switching hands and everything. Now, I've got to go up in here and we need to clean the UV. And then we have a roller right here, which is spinning. So this kind of flattens the print out after it prints. So we got to wipe the roller, and we can see there's just a little bit of color there, but that's excess resin we don't want on our next print. All right, gonna get a little bit more of this. I use a pretty liberal amount of. I just said I wasn't gonna do that earlier, and there I went and doing it only for this video. So now I need to clean the print head. So this is the print head, which is this cool multi-head little thing. And when I say multi-head, I mean it's really hard to see, but there's a bunch of teeny little holes all across this. So anyways, that's what we're cleaning there. Got a little bit more. Now we're gonna add just a little bit more alcohol. And in the back, there's what's called a wiper, so the print head will move back here and get wiped by this on a regular basis. So we need to clean the top of that and put that back in. Now this is a consumable, that'll be replaced occasionally. This wiper roller will get full of junk, and that gets placed occasionally. And then if I'm still seeing any type, oh, that was from this. I'm just gonna do it one more time. So now it's just extra clean. That's the worst folding job I've ever done. Okay. Now our bed is totally clean and ready. So now we'll go into here, click that we cleaned all that. Next. Now it will let me raise the bed and clean from underneath it, but I just did that before this print, so I'll do it on the next one. So now that's gonna start. So this is gonna have a few more minutes of it just wiping the head. So it wiping the head, like I said, as it takes a few minutes, we'll go over here and we'll clean one more of these parts off. I'll put it right here and see if we can see better. Take my set of gloves off, turn the water back on, and we'll see if this is a better experience. Maybe now without the water pooling up, it'll look a little bit better. But that does take a couple of minutes for it to just kind of wipe. So we'll be sure. Now if you have some valuable parts, if you're using this washing station, be careful of that stainless steel. It could scratch your parts if they're just tumbling around on the inside. Now, go ahead and clean. Let me see, maybe if I switch hands, it'll look better. Not really. I was trying to figure out what made it the best for viewing pleasure for you. But I'll have to work on a satisfying viewing angle for the camera. I don't really have a good mount for it right now, so I've just got to kind of work with this. But seeing it right here, I can actually do it a little bit faster, so I'm just going to knock it out real quick. So we just got all the supports on the bottom of it done, just about. So now we get the sides. Side, get this side. Just kind of go over the whole thing a little bit. Boom. So that's one little sheet done. Now we'll do another one. Look at that, nice. Coming off super easy. Alright. Get the edge. Get the edge, keep on getting it. Top a little bit. Alright, that's a third one done. Get the last one. Maybe by the time I clean this last one, the printer will be ready for the next step. It's not even ready to print after that cleaning. Well, kind of it is, but I'm going to show you what else I have to do. Just knock this out real quick. I know this isn't the most attractive thing to look at. I'm sorry. I promise you it's worth it. Alright. We got this cleaned. Oh. Got the bottom of it cleaned. Clean the top real quick. Clean the side. Okay. And then I generally just kind of take this and rinse that and the whole washing station off. It really sends this material kind of everywhere. Like, let me show you. Okay, so I just kind of take this and then spray it all over the place in here to kind of get the junk off the walls, get the supports off the walls. I noticed one time I didn't properly clean it. I'm gonna do a better job before I leave. Let's turn the water off. Okay. Got a nice little mist. And then take these out. Now, because I didn't do just a stellar job cleaning them, what I'm gonna do, oh, Christ. I dropped the phone. Sorry guys. Okay. Let's do this one-handed. So, since there's still some kind of support material left, I'm just gonna rinse it off. But see, so that's how it comes out of the printer. Now, wet, it looks a bit more clear and awesome, but you can kind of see there is a grain surface to it. So that's top layer. So this was the bottom layer where the supports came off of, and it's still a little slick even. There's just something kind of to those supports that make them feel a little goofy, feel a little slimy. Slimy is the right term. So I'm just gonna kind of rinse those off. And these supports are water soluble. That's why you use the pressure washer, which is the setup that came with the printer. So this was the Stratasys way to clean these prints. I'll go ahead and turn this off. I'm not going to use it again. But yeah, that's the quick way. So this is a sander I just bought. Not really the most ideal sander, but it works for what it is. And then we've got these guys here. So here is what looks like a polished version. So this was after 380 or something, then 1,000, then 2,000, then a buffing wheel. The buffing wheel on the bench grinder there. And that gets us our clarity difference from one to the other. And you can really see it once this dries out, just how big of a difference that clarity is. It's almost a little yellow, but I think that's quite literally just what it is. So you can, you know, it's still pretty good. Like, this would probably be acceptable, but this just looks a whole lot better. Okay, so it is done now. Even when I click next, there is still more seconds to wait. And, you know, it's just slightly more entertaining, even if my camera skills weren't the best on the washing station, but this does take just a long time to start. Okay, so it's just about ready here, but we go down in here and it tells us we need to do a print pattern test. So we need to do this before actually printing. So now I gotta start this, and I need to do a print pattern test once a week. So if I'm only printing once a week, I pretty much have to do this each time. But if I'm printing daily, you know, it's only going to show up once a week. But now we got to do a print pattern test. So the bed starts moving, and I know it's coming. So I'm going to go ahead in here. I'm going to grab a piece of paper. Let me get that piece of paper ready. Just put the piece of paper right here. Where's my tape? I had tape I was using earlier. The desk is a little messy right now. I'm about to clean it all up. I didn't bring that tape over here, did I? I might have. Yep, there it is. Found the tape! I just needed Scotch tape. Okay, so there's my trash box. Now we need to put a piece of paper right there. Alright. This might be a little hard to do one-handed, so I'm just going to set the phone, like, I don't have a good place to set the phone. I'm just going to set it down up here for 2 seconds, but what I'm going to do is just tape the corners of these, and I'll show you right as I'm done. It won't take too long, I promise. I'm almost even finished. I've got 2 of them out of 4 done. There's 3. Kind of messed that up, but it's okay. Okay, so now we have a pink piece of paper. It's a little raised, but that'll be okay. It's going to print right here, not down here. And we had to fix it with the tape, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Show you that not being perfect right there is okay. And this doesn't take too long, but we'll watch it do it. Actually, while it starts this, what I'll do is I'll show you over here. So on this side, here is the build plate. So if you haven't ever seen the build plate of a J5, it is Pac-Man shaped. So what we've got here is multiple of these slices you were just seeing and another 3D model we need to print. But this area is a no-go for printing, and even more so, this area kind of extends to over here. Every time I try to put something over here, it just says it can't move the head fast enough. Now, if I just moved like one over here, it would probably work, but if I tried to fill this up with 2 more of these slices and put it over here, it just most likely wouldn't work. Now, I think I can actually have 1 more slice, so I'm gonna go in here, and instead of just add a model, I need to add an assembly. So we're gonna go in here. Now we were in STS display, STS leg, holes ready for print, and I had done already, actually let me look because I've already forgot now. J5 project files. So I did 11 through 14, so this is 15, 16, 17, 18, so now I need 19, which is going to be 18 on this one because I have a 0. I'm pretty sure I can fit 1 more right here. So generally when it comes in outside, and just about every model needs a repair. So we're going to go ahead and repair all models. Okay, models fixed. And then, you know, I can position this, I can just toss this in here. We're going to let it auto do itself, but we can see this is white. It's not all colored like this, so I actually have to go in here and choose the colors. So here's our tray materials. I could pick one of those if I wanted a solid color, but we actually need it a very specific color. I need it this color. So we do 255 by 75 by 75 by 0.3, and then this outside one is going to be clear, And then the nerve is going to be yellow. And the vessel will be red. And then our tumor is going to be green. And the green color is 016FF00. 16FF00. Cool, so there's our green. So now we have our next one added in there. So that's kind of what it takes to add another print in here. Then we want to arrange the tray. Now, I almost forgot, but there's another caveat here. So under here, under the color picker, if I go under more settings, I can actually go down here in the base core options. So inside this greenness, if it has its decision, it's going to do it out of white. But I actually just want it to do it out of the green. So it's just going to make more green, which will use like blue and yellow or whatever makes green. And then I also want the supports to be light, because I've realized, so I selected all the models. Now I'm going down to support options, light. I don't know what heavy means, I just know that light works. So now that that's ready, we're going to arrange the tray. I didn't do that already. So now it's going to move everything where it thinks it should be. Great. Now we're going to select print, and it'll get it all ready. And this is a fairly quick computer. I just heard the printer stop. Okay, so that's, look at that. So all those pieces are going to be 9 hours and 11 minutes. It's going to use 250 grams of white. It's going to use almost 600 grams of clear and about 300 grams of supports, and then a very small amount there. So now we go back to the printer, and it asks if the build plate is clean, and we have our printer test here. So now it's time to take the printer test off. Gotta get the tape in the right direction. Got it. Come on. Okay. So now, what this test does is it shows us each nozzle and color, and it makes sure that each nozzle for each color, so I guess there's 6 nozzles and then individual lines per nozzle. So it's hard to see here, but you can kind of see those are lines. So just like a printer, like a color printer, what you're supposed to do here is look for any missing lines. Now there's none on this. It's kind of clear when you do it. You can see there's a big section missing. So the printer is not clogged, and the nozzles are all working great. So the build tray is clean and empty. There are no holes. All the colors match. Great. Now the print test is done. Repeat it? No. So if there was a jam, we would then do a printer unjamming procedure, which then is like another 30 minutes of me having to put in a scale and then another tray, and then it'll print, like put scale here, you put the scale there, then it'll move the scale over there, you plug it in, and then it'll dump a lot of fluid out of those nozzles kind of forcefully to unjam them. So now I can hit ready to print. So now it will take, again, considering its state on when you last printed something or whatnot will depend on its temperature, but there's generally a temperature that it shows that it has to meet. So this is actually finally now ready to go. 30 minutes after the print came out, roughly. Maybe that could have been about 5-10 minutes shorter. I don't think so. It is now ready, and I can hit send. And now that that has preparing print, come on. You can see how long it takes. 60, 70. Come on, 75, paused, 100, done. Okay, queuing print job successfully queued. We come over here, it is now on the printer, it is queued. So, and then generally what I'll do is I check my levels. So I've got fluid in all the channels. So down here are resin containers. They all have some fluid in it, and that container is the waste container. That is 60% full. I'm 65. I'm gonna change it after this next one because I had it say about 60-70% one time before and it overfilled. But now this is gonna spin up and then start printing. And generally, even from this moment, there's at least another 2 to 5 minutes before it actually starts spraying filament out. I don't know how many other self-checks it does, but before we actually start seeing the filament get onto the build plate, it takes a little bit longer. And this is everything I had to do before I needed to leave, so we're not going to wait around for that. But I just thought I'd kind of show some of the process of what I have to do when it comes to starting this J5 and how long it kind of takes. But that said, I've never had to do a nozzle replacement on this. I've never had to call for service on it. It has just consistently worked, and only twice has that print test out of maybe 20 of them ever showed a jammed nozzle, and that was generally after 2 to 3 weeks of non-use, which if you're not going to use it for 2 to 3 weeks, you're supposed to put it in a certain mode that will dump out all the resin out of the tubes, so and out of the nozzle, so that they don't jam like that. But yeah, anyways, that is just a quick little gist of what I go through. And here is an example of a resin 3D print that 3D printer can make. That is just such a super cool model. Anyways, guys, I know this was a very long one. Hopefully you had fun. If you actually stayed through this, hopefully it was semi-entertaining. I know my skills of recording could be a little bit better, but we're gonna get this place cleaned up a little bit, and I am gonna go home and be back up here tomorrow. So we'll see you in the next video.